Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling, and thanks a lot for checking out today's video and making a little time out of your day to watch it. Always grateful for that. You guys got a little bit of a disturbing video today. We're going to be talking about the tackle stores across the country that are starting to go out of business, partially due to live scope technology. There's sort of been a rash of this over the last year, and I've got some examples I'm going to give you guys here. We're going to talk about that and some of the deeper ramifications of it in today's video. Also, guys, before we get started, just want to invite everybody out there, if you haven't had to consider becoming a channel member here of Intuitive Angling. And channel members get extra videos every week that aren't seen by the public and some access to my personal email address for your fishing questions. So if you're interested, on my YouTube homepage, just click the join button and it gives you the info for that. So much appreciated on that. Okay, guys, the reason I want to do this video here is I got two different messages from subscribers this week. One of the messages I got was an angler, or he was talking about a friend of his that had been in the tackle store business. He'd had a tackle store for decades over there, and he had to close it up this month because he said that basically live scope and the fact that the live scope technology that has a limited scope of lures that they use for live scoping, it's been such a dominant situation in his part of the country that he's having to close up the shop because nobody's buying anything else. All they're buying is the stuff they can use for live scope, and he can't stay in business like that. And then there was another angler that forwarded me a video that another tackle store angler was closing their shop in Florida after 40 years, and he was talking about due to live scope. Same type of a deal. It's basically live scope. You're pretty much limited to like little swim baits, jerk baits, drop shots. There's a very small group of lure categories that people use with live scoping, and these mom and pop tackle stores simply can't stay in business, just catering to the live scopers. And on top of this, they were saying that ever since live scope came out, that nobody wants to come in to the tackle stores like they used to and talk about fishing. It used to be the mom and pop tackle store, people would come in there and they'd want to know how the fish were biting and what the patterns were and what the hot lures were. And that was a big part of this mom and pop tackle store business, was the fact they would form relationships with these anglers because they were in the know. People came in, gave them fishing reports all the time, and they would be able to relate that to their customers and sell products as a result of it. But now nobody talks about patterns or techniques or what the fish are biting on, because everybody goes out there and sticks the live scope in the water and they're throwing a little swim bait or whatever like that. Nobody needs the mom and pop tackle store anymore. Now, part of this probably too, that's just the natural evolution, with more of the big box retailers and that type of stuff and a lot of the online shops. So there is that element there, but regardless, the mom and pop tackle stores and the smaller tackle stores, they are going out of business at an alarming rate, and live scope is a big part of that. The reason they're going under, you can talk to any one of these tackle store owners and they'll tell that. So if there wasn't another reason for you guys to hate live scope, add that to your list. So I've compiled a little list here. We're talking about, you guys know you're going to get the truth on this channel about live scope, but I've compiled a little list that keeps adding up about why live scope forward facing sonar is the worst thing that ever happened to fishing, and we need to get rid of it. Number one, right off the bat, we talked just about what we talked about, the tackle stores. It's putting tackle shops out of business simply because such a limited scope of fishing lures. Number two, there's been a huge declining interest in viewership and watching television shows that have live scopers. You guys know this for sure. Nobody wants to watch somebody staring down at the screen, throwing their weenie worm on a spinning rod, saying, there he is, there he is. Oh, he's getting close, oh, there he's got it. Like that. Nobody wants to see that. People made it very clear. And of course, Bassmaster and MLF, it's one ear and out the other on that. Next thing talking about is the financial discrimination. Live scope forward facing sonar definitely discriminates financially against some anglers that cannot afford it. Not everybody out there can afford $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 at the minimum on a live scope unit. A lot of people out there, it's everything they can do to put together some money to have a 16-foot flat bottom with a little 5-inch 2D screen on it. So when you're talking about especially tournament competition, there is a financial disparity and discrimination from live scope there. The next one we talked about sustainability. Guys, sustainability is a big thing. Talk about all the time about these guys that are live scoping for bass and flaying bass out, getting their limits now when they've never been able to get it, flaying them out. I've seen Stockton Lake go down the tubes the last 2 or 3 years because all the live scoping crappie fishermen up there. It is in the process of destroying our fisheries. It's just a matter of how long it's going to take. Next, we talked a lot about this. It removes the unknown, the mystery and the magic of the sport. I mean, anytime that you go fishing, part of the joy and part of the magic in fishing is not knowing what the heck is out there. That's what creates excitement, magic, and mystery. But when you have relegated fishing, instead of I'm going to fish that point and see what's there, to I just live scope that point on there's nothing on it, so I'm going to go to the next one. You've removed a lot of the magic from fishing. Next, it rewards a lack of experience and rewards the ability to excel in virtual reality. Forward-facing sonar penalizes guys that have put in decades of hard work. All these OG Bass Pros that you guys see they're at the bottom of the standings right now, they're at the bottom of the standings because the decades and decades of dirt time and on the water experience and developing, being masters at seasonal patterns, that information is worthless now, guys. It's worthless to them. And live scoping is rewarding anglers out there that have the ability to, they're tech savvy, they have the ability to move comfortably through virtual reality, and they don't need to know anything about fishing. Nothing about fishing. I get messages all the time about people across the country saying they know people that will not go fishing if they can't live scope because they don't know how to do anything else. All they know how to do is read that video game. Is that what we want? Is that the direction we want the sport to go in? Let me ask you that question. And finally, another one, of course there's many more, but I'll just wind up with this one. Forward-facing sonar screws co-anglers. If you're in the back of the boat and you got some dude, live scoping up there, you're screwed. You might as well bring a, bucket of fried chicken and eat it back there because that's about how many you're going to catch. So from that standpoint, every single co-angler I talk to does not like it. They don't want to see it. They think it's the worst thing that ever happened. But anyway, guys, just a quick video. I just wanted to relay that to you about the tackle shops out there. And I know that there's other factors, but the feedback that I have gotten, and it makes complete sense, is if you have a larger segment of the consumers out there, the bass fishing, fishing tackle consumers that are getting more and more reliant upon live scope, then your sales of little swim baits, drop shots, ice jigs, some jerk baits occasionally, small category lures, that's what you're going to sell. And a tackle store cannot sustain themselves financially by that narrow of a product line out there. And the more that technology advances, and the more that technology advances specifically on those lines, you're going to see more and more of these tackle stores go out of business. Same way what happened with Walmart. When Walmart put all the little mom and pop grocery stores out of business, it's sort of the same way, just a different aspect on that. But anyway, just another reason that live scope sucks and is terrible for the sport and is the worst thing for the sport, and that people need to get their heads out of the sand about it. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll talk later.